Matt, at this time, I'm going to throw it across to you for our topics.
Okay. So in our first article here, we got something even Ray Charles was going to be able to see coming down the line, but a message from Pete Parsons from Bungie.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Nick, Alex, IU to Nolan, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 684. I'm your host, Tricky Mick, alongside with me, the man who likes fire. It's Matt.
I think that's much better than last week. Straight, simple, to the point.
I decided to go simple this week.
It works very well.
Yield will not be joining us. Alex will be joining us. He's having a little bit of technical issues, so he's going to be joining us in a little bit. He's just restarting his computer as we speak. But, Matt, how are you doing, sir?
I'm coming off of what I'd like to call is a nice and relaxing weekend. For once we didn't do a billion things. Maybe we only did a million things, but I took some time to, go see a movie.
Anything good?
The 4K re-release of Shin Godzilla.
So, no, nothing good.
Says the man who doesn't like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I think I'm not alone in that opinion.
You're certainly in the minority.
Maybe. I don't know.
Why would you say Shin Godzilla is not good? You haven't even seen it.
I don't know. I'm just messing with you.
Of course you are.
Hold on one second. I'm being distracted for a second. We're good? We're good. All right. Sorry. I had somebody doing something by me. I didn't know what they were doing, so I just want to make sure they were good.
How dare they?
How dare they? So Matt, while we wait for Alice to get in here, how is everything? I mean, you said your weekend, you saw a good movie. How is everything else?
Well, the drama of the house selling continues on. It turns out we're probably going to need to do a decent paint job downstairs, so that's more money that's going to sink into this home. But beyond that, work is being a bitch, so there's that. So the only thing I really have going for me is gaming and this podcast.
Did you happen to start Hellblade? I did.
Hellblade, no, I don't. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to that one.
I started playing it. And I'll go into more in depth in this in the when we get to what we're playing. But I apparently I found out they released a PlayStation 5 version of it. It was a free upgrade, so I started playing that one instead of going back to the 4 version. And one thing that I'm pleasantly surprised is this one has chapter select. So if I do miss one of the collectible tombs, I can go back to that chapter and find it.
See, that's neat because when you consider that Gears of War Reloaded is coming out this week, I remember going back through that game. If you missed one of the cog tags, you basically were fucked until your next playthrough. And that's what my friend and I did. We played through that game like 3 or 4 times. And on the second go, we realized, all right, we're not going to do this again where we're having to like search high and low. So we looked at a guide for the cog tags on our second playthrough. And yeah, no, having like a chapter select and something like that is very nice.
Yeah, I do think the game, now I could be 100% wrong with this. I do feel like it's a little harder this time around. I'm having a little bit of a hard time dodging. But that could just be my timing, 100%. I'm not totally sure about that. So, all right, Alex, we were just going into. I was explaining. I started up Hellblade, and this version, because they released a PlayStation 5 free download. This version has a chapter select in it, so if I miss any tombs, I can easily go find it.
You're talking about the sequel?
No, the first one.
Oh, okay. Because I was confused for a second because I saw you playing and you were playing the first Hellblade, like you said you're going to go back and get the platinum trophy before you went to the sequel.
Right, and I found out. I think I found out on my dashboard there was a free upgrade to a PlayStation 5 version of it. So I downloaded that and started playing that one.
Now, is that if you own the original Hellblade, you get a free upgrade, or do you buy? Wait, is it when you buy the sequel?
I'm assuming it's got to be a free upgrade if you own the first one. Um, I didn't see anything when I bought Hellblade 2. I didn't buy the deluxe version or anything like that, so I don't think it came with that, but I think this is just a free upgrade if you owned the PlayStation 4 version of it.
Okay, I mean that's very nice. I mean, especially since this is a company now owned by Microsoft. But it would be very nice if you bought the game and then just gotta. It's always nice to get that free upgrade because, as we know, you can't always count on that. In fact, more times than not, you can't count on it. So
Yeah, and like I said, the good thing about it now is it has a chapter select. So if I miss one of the collectible tombs, I can just go easily find it. I don't have to go back to the entire game and try to find out where I lost it.
that
And
is
apparently,
always nice.
apparently in the second chapter is one of the hardest tombs to find. So I used a guide to find it and found it no problem.
I
So
mean, let's be real. It's 2025. In this year, we should have chapter select and be able to go back and find collectibles that way. It shouldn't be where you have to play the entire game again.
I mean that's a debatable point. I mean,
No, it's not. It's
so
not debatable at
I
all. What are we supposed to have
it,
games without fast travel too?
yes.
Why?
Let's go. Let's go back to the realism of games. Like when we didn't have guides, when we didn't have fast travel, we didn't have chapter select.
The
You died, you
realism
had to
of
start over
games
at the
when we were
beginning.
playing 8-bit Castlevania, and I'm not picking on Castlevania because I love Castlevania, but we mean realism.
But when you died, you went back to the beginning. There was no, oh, let me
Oh
continue
no,
from
you need
here.
to get that bullshit out of here.
Oh, come on,
You
Matt.
need to
What
fuck
are your
off with that
thoughts?
nonsense.
I
I
think it
mean, even
depends on the
Hell.
game.
I mean, even Hellblade has the thing that if you die too much, you get too much rot. Your save is deleted.
I'm sorry. I mean, you could put an option for permadeath in there, but I don't want to be. With the time I have and when I sit down to play my games, I'm not saying I don't want challenge, but I want to feel like I'm progressing if I put in the effort. I want to sit here and feel like my game is just wiped if I die too much. So it could
Matt,
be
I'm
an
sorry, I
option,
cut you
but I don't
off.
want to play games with permadeath. And lest we forget, we think back to the old days when Tricky says if you die, go back to the beginning. Well, remember, games like the Mega Man games, which, on the NES were traditionally thought of as pretty difficult, a lot of them had like passwords which you could skip to further areas of the game. Mike Tyson's Punch Out also had passwords, even one that would get you all the way to Mike Tyson. So let's not act like the other older games didn't have ways to, save your
No, but
progress, so to speak.
go back to the original Mario Brothers. You died. You were back at 1-1.
And that's fine because those games are shorter. The levels are long. There's also warp pipes to for you to skip worlds.
Did you
I'm not.
know that there was a secret continue option in Mario Brothers?
I did not.
I heard that this was a myth. I didn't know if this is actually true.
I thought I've seen it performed. I haven't done it myself, so buyer beware.
Are we doing random video game trivia now? Because I have one.
I would love it.
Well, we haven't gotten into updated trophy count, so yeah, go ahead.
Well, this will allow me to pull up the agenda because I don't remember what my trophy count is. But I was watching a video on because this was Bonanza was getting ready to come out, and they did a video. I can't remember who it was. It may have been Watch Mojo or somebody, or is it Gamer Ranks? I cannot forget. I'll try to look it up to give proper credit. But they had talked about how this was a DK64, facts you may have not known. And one of the facts was, do you all remember DK64 at all? Did you all play it?
No.
I'm sure I did.
Okay, well, there was a world in there called Fungi Forest. It was, I think, one of the... it was kind of reminiscent of one of the levels of Banjo-Kazooie, but I never knew that level, Fungi Forest, was initially supposed to be in Banjo-Kazooie. And I guess alongside the level like Click Clock Wood, which they were kind of similar to each other. But I guess the team ran out of time, so they, instead of, just scrapping it completely, it went to DK64. Fun fact.
All right, let's do our updated trophy count. I am level 970 total trophies of 34,783 with 999 plats. Hellblade will be my 1,000. I'm just putting that out there right now. Alex,
Not
what
Death
is your
Stranding
trophy
2?
count? Listen, I'll go into Death Stranding 2 when we get into what we're playing, because it's kind of like aggravating me a little bit, but we'll get into that
Oh,
more.
are you about to talk some shit about the man Hideo Kojima, the real man, the myth, and legend?
No, I'm talk shit about his game.
Might as well be the same thing. I am level 523, total trophy count of 10,728, and a platinum count of 195 in 194 games.
Yield is level 534, total trophies of 11,357 with 218 plats. Matt,
Level 222 with 1,337 trophies and 0 plats. And I think when Ghosts of Yote comes out, I think I'm just going to make a brand new profile.
you can't do that.
I think I can.
You can't do that. Come on.
How many profiles have you had, Tricky?
How many profiles I've had?
Yeah. You and Sid and your back and forth profiles.
Okay, I that's kind of a loaded question, because how many profiles do I play on? 1. How many accounts do I have to get games from other regions? 6. But I only play on 1 account. Well, technically 2. But the second account I can't talk about, because that's when I'm playing a game under an NDA or something like that, and I can't put it out in the public.
Well, that makes sense.
Sid is level 897, total trophies of 27,575 with 859 plats. Sid sent me a message today telling me that his family's making fun of him because he was playing Bluey.
Anything for the job.
But unfortunately, we do not have a rarity update this week, and we do not have audio from Sid. I reached out to Garrett. Garrett did not get back to me. This is not a shot at Garrett. I just completely forgot to message him earlier. So, yeah.
Double updates
All right.
next week.
Yes. All right. So, let's get into what we're playing. Alex, we'll start with you. What have you been playing, sir?
Once again, I'm pretty quick and easy. More Helldivers 2. Finally caught up on all the war bonds, doing some work to get me in a good spot for the next war bond, which is going to be the ODST, the Halo crossover, which comes out here. I guess the game releases on the 25th or the 26th? Does anybody know for sure?
I did post something in the Facebook group making fun of it.
Well, it's either tomorrow or Tuesday, but it's real soon, the next couple days. And I'm assuming the new war bond drops, so I've got gotten ahead of the game, and I've got some medals ready to spend in that, so I don't fall behind and have to do a whole lot of makeup work.
It's
Playing
the
a little
26th.
bit more of Rocket League, but I guess really kind of my focus has been on the Mega Man Legacy Collection, which I got my 50 bronze medals, so I earned an ultra rare bronze trophy, which in and of itself is kind of, you think about it, like how many bronze trophies out there are actually rare, ultra rare? Not a lot of them. So I'm actually kind of proud to get that one. I doubt very seriously I will ever get the 50 or gold medals required in that game to get the last 2 trophies and earn myself a silver and gold trophy. But it would be nice because those are also ultra rare. And for a Mega Man game from 2015, those are probably going to stay where they are. So, but proud to get that bronze trophy. And then, yeah, I guess I'm just biding my time, really. I mean, a lot of the reason why I've put so much time into, Helldivers and Rocket League is because I'm really just waiting on, what's it called? Gears of War Reloaded to come out, to drop, which I think is this week. So,
Tuesday.
Yeah, next time that we talk, I should have some thoughts on Gears of War finally after, never playing it for all these years. And then I was going to buy a game called Wild Bastards, but I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's a smaller game. There's not even a trophy guide out there for it, but I've kind of, it's got a bunch of ultra rares in it, but also at the same time, it's one of those games where you have to beat it like 5 or 6 times on different difficulties. I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to play the same game. If I'm going to play a game, it's going to be a game like, say, Punch Out or Super Punch Out, where I'm playing it over because I want to play the game, because I enjoy playing that game that much. But I don't want to have to play a game 5 or 6 times just because the trophy guide tells me to. So that, even though it was like 70% off and $10, I'm like, I'll skip it and get out of here. So really, Gears of War is kind of where I'm aiming my sights for this coming week. So.
Have you seen the trophies for Gears of War Reloaded?
Are you telling me that I gotta beat it on a whole bunch of different difficulties?
I don't know about the difficulties. I can. Yes, you gotta beat it all on insane difficulty. But that's not the part that you're gonna hate. There are trophies for killing 10,000 people in online.
Oh, it's got online.
It's about the
trophies.
same as the first one.
There's a trophy for completing 100 matches in a ring-based game and capture 3 objectives in each match. There's a trophy for reaching level 100 and re-upping. You have to kill an enemy with every weapon. You have to defeat General Ram in co-op on Insane without either player being DBNO, which I don't know what that stands for.
Down but not out.
And you have to win 25 matches in Team Deathmatch and close all 4 E-holes around the fountain in Fish in a Barrel without any locusts fully emerging.
So what you're telling me is this list sounds absolutely fucking terrible.
These were basically achievements for when it released on 360.
Sid did say these are the exact same achievements for when it was on 360.
This is nothing new. Wait until they do Gears of War 2 for you guys, because then it's seriously 2.0, which I think is 100,000 kills.
Yeah, I'm not playing that. maybe actually we'll play Hellblade 2 after all. No, I'm sorry. Like, I want to play Gears of War, but also like, fuck that shit. Come on now. Like that's
well.
I'll have to see.
You did say you wanted to play co-op. So I mean, we can get together, me, you, and Matt.
It's because I want to play co-op and not because I fucking have to.
Well, you do for trophies because you have to complete all acts in co-op.
Well, here's one thing you can think of: play the game without worrying about the trophies.
Matt, you know good and goddamn.
That's blasphemous, Matt. Matt, I can't believe you just made a blasphemous statement on this podcast.
I make a lot of blasphemous statements on this podcast.
You know what? I may not be willing to do as much for trophies as some other people on this show, but god dang it, like I'm still drawn to the allure
my thumb hurts from
earning as many trophies as I can. I just went back and played the Mega Man Legacy Collection to get a fucking bronze trophy. You serious, Matt? Do you know who you're talking to?
My thumb is hurting from holding down the X and the jumping falafel today.
Maybe you need to do more stretches and exercises on that hand.
You could still play the game and just not get the platinum.
Yeah, but that's so like it's so annoying that like
that's so NES days.
I don't know. I just feel like that is like you're remaking this game and you can't just think of new trophies. You have to go for the same old trophy list that like I don't know.
Well, so we were talking about on this show that the way games used to be, that, you know, there used to be not continues and whatnot, and if you die, you start over.
And Alex shit on that. And Alex totally shit on that.
And I'm glad we don't have that anymore. I would like to finish games. I don't care if they're perceived as easier these days. Which, by the way, I mean, the Soulsborne series would like a word, but if I play a game, like, I don't want to go back and play Vector Man and get to like the second level and fucking die and then start over again. Like, what is this? No, I actually want to see the game till the end. That's like paying for a movie and not seeing the end of it. Like, I mean, I realize people may walk out of some movies because they're shitty or turn them off if they're watching them at home. But Jesus, I pay like $60 for a game and I don't get to see the end. You know what?
Did you ever beat Battletoads?
No, I never played Battletoads. I played Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, but I never played Battletoads on the NES. I played also the arcade game, and I've never beaten that as well.
I beat Battletoads.
Well, I'm sure you did. I've never beaten a single Battletoads game, even Battletoads and Battle Maniacs. They're all fucking hard.
Matt, what have you been playing, sir?
So on the ye old PC, I did some Helldivers 2 as well with some friends. Yeah, actually, we were just doing level 6s just to get some of those pink super samples and killing bugs as part of the major order. And we did some of those defense missions, where you lock down the facility and you just fight the waves as they're coming through the doors. And the mission gave us 380 millimeter shells. So I launched them into an area, and my friend went to walk over there to do something, and a shell just plastered him. And of course it says was killed by me. And I said, well, what are you doing walking into my field of 380s? Same thing happened with the napalm. And on this particular mission, you actually had citizens helping you. Like there were soldiers and other people moving around the facility. And I'm sitting there watching as a shell just come down, and suddenly you get negative 25 super bucks or whatever they are, requisition slips, because the citizen got killed.
They act like that's like a huge detriment when like you can fill up your requisition, your full 50,000 requisition in no time. Like
well, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that, where we said that should tell you all you need to know about the perception of citizens.
And like, to be fair, like I have started to donate like the common samples and the requisition slips to the the Democracy Superstation as a way to help the community. So I'm, even though that's the case, like I'm still like, even though if they are largely useless, I'm going to be honest at this point, I still see it as I can contribute to the war effort. But then like if I pick up requisition slips in the games, I don't feel so dirty about it.
Well, just don't forget that you can, as you level up your weapons, you can unlock the different scopes and things like that for them. So that's also another thing.
I mean that's nice to know, but also like I'm not like changing my weapon now. It's the Jar 5 Dominator, and it's always gonna be the Jar 5 Dominator.
Matt, I got a question for you. How are you playing 3 different games right now?
What do you mean? How am I playing 3 different games?
According to Discord, you're playing Gunfire Reborn, you're playing Battlefield 6 Open Beta, and you're playing Fear.
No, that's what Discord is telling you what I've played recently, not what I'm currently playing. You'd have to look under my actual name in the list, and you'll see what, if anything, that I'm currently playing.
It says you're currently playing Podcast Host.
Yeah, well, there is that. Also played some more Origami 2 in co-op mode with my buddy. I did another mission in MechWarrior 5 Clans. I would like to get through that so I can get to the DLC. Gunfire Reborn, which is a roguelike first-person shooter. I got back into that with a buddy because there has been a ton of updates to that game, and it's still as fun as the day I put it down. I had not touched this game since 2023, so picking it back up, there was like a whole roster of things that changed, and the developers continue to earn my money because of how much they're putting into this. I gave a try into Doom the Dark Ages Ripatorium. This is essentially you go in, you set your own parameters, like how many enemies, the types of enemies, the weapons, the skill-based challenges, and you just go in. Like, essentially I have to kill 300 demons within a certain time limit. It's fun. It gives the game replayability. I also put more time into Peak. Again, it's a co-op roguelike climbing adventure game where you crash land and you have to use all the things you find to help you get up the mountain. And hilarity ensues as you try to get up and ultimately fail. On the Switch 2, I put more time into DK Bonanza, just searching for more bananas, because that's what that game is all about. Getting more bananas. As well as Super Mario Party Jamboree, just playing that in single player mode because it's still fun. And also I am borrowing V's Pokemon Violet because I felt like starting a new Pokemon game before Legend ZA comes out. And I haven't touched Violet, so I'm starting a run through with that. And the upgrades to what that game is on the Switch 2 make it so much more playable. Still looks like a 1990s version of the game, but it at least it's smooth and plays fine. But that's what I've been doing this week.
All right, and I have been playing Hellblade: Senua Sacrifice, as I mentioned before. Just got to chapter 3 and I stopped. I'm gonna keep playing. There's only so much I can take with the whispering in ears in one shot. I did stream it. I plan to stream the rest of the game as I play it, so you guys can get involved with me. Played some Division. They are introduced their stretch goals, and Matt didn't put a Division topic in our agenda, which I'm very upset with him about, because I told him I wanted one.
You have equal access to the agenda, sir.
I know. I just looked now. So Massive was at Gamescom, and they just revealed that they're coming back with Survival 2.0 for Division 2, which has got me very hyped. That was my favorite activity in the first division. This one's going to be called Survivors. Um, no details have been released. We don't know if it's going to be a paid DLC, a free DLC. We don't know anything about it, just the name of it. They did hint that says that one major aspect of the mode is in its name, which the only word we have is survivors. So there's not much of a clue there, unless you guys can think of something survivors um, based, but I don't know. And Death Stranding 2. I put some more time into that. I'm getting annoyed with this because I have currently 42 of the 55 trophies, which means I have another 12 trophies to go to get the platinum. There is one trophy here, complete 10 deliveries, 10 recoveries, and 10 elimination destruction standard orders with an S rank and casual difficulty or above. I've done numerous missions and I only have 25 of 30. Don't know what the hell I'm missing. Master Builder, build every structure type, including tools, deployable shields, electric traps, and any sign. I only have 11 out of 18. Don't know what the hell I'm missing. Keep on connecting. Connect all your facilities to the Cupid, 39 of 42. I don't know where these other three are. Collecting hearts and minds, I just got to keep doing deliveries, but I have 11 of 42, but I got to find the other three in order to start working on those. Delivery emergency support for the first time. Don't know what the fuck to do for that. Dig a hot spring for the first time. Don't know how to dig a hot spring. Defeat the Lord of the Tar Lake. No clue. Prevent Terminal Fort Knox from falling victim to a void out. Don't know what the hell to do for that. Arrive at the BT Nexus in F3 Crater. Capture a large BT for the first time. Defeat a golden chiral creature. And achieve a portal grade of 40 or more in all categories. I have 40 in every category except for stealth, and there's really not options for stealth, so I don't know what the hell. I'm getting frustrated at this. I love the game. I have, I think, 140 hours in it, but I'm not making any progress on these trophies, and I don't know what the hell to do. And before anybody says, oh, go look at the guide, I looked at the guide. The guide doesn't really tell you what I'm missing. That's my frustration. That's my little soapbox for Death Stranding 2.
Which is why you're making Hellblade
Yes.
1000.
Yes, because not only that, because I'm only doing half the trophies in all the jumping games to keep up my bonus points, and they're starting to fill up my home screen. So I want to get them off my home screen. So I want to get the 1,000 so I can start platinum in those. Because by the time when I hit 1,000, I'm probably gonna have 1,040 the next week. So, just getting frustrated. And that's what I've been playing. Matt, at this time, I'm gonna throw it across to you for our topics.
Okay. So in our first article here, we got something even Ray Charles was going to be able to see coming down the line, but a message from Pete Parsons from Bungie with the title Passing on the Torch. Basically just going in saying that Pete Parsons, after 15 years being a developer and, most recently CEO, is deciding to leave Bungie and leave it in the hands of, I thought who they said...
The person replacing him is the person who writes next, right? They both of them write kind of a letter up in the post.
Yeah, Justin Truman. There it is. So, I listen. Bungie's been a big part of my gaming history, as it is you guys. And looking at this, saying from Halo to Destiny, there's a lot of people that could wish for that kind of career. So, best of luck to Pete on his next endeavor, retirement, whatever he's doing next. But we'll see what happens to Bungie from here on out. Yeah, Alex, you were vocal about this when we shared it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of theorized all along, and I'm sure you could find an old episode where if Bungie is kind of crashing or Bungie's in a bad way and the way that they're being led and directed is questionable, the guy in charge is Pete Parsons, and how is he not kind of in Sony's sights as a kind of be like, hey, you need to get this together because you're essentially the quarterback, you're the leader, and we come to you. And so really, if there was ever going to be serious change at Bungie, his kind of job was really the one on the line, or most in trouble, I would say. Because again, we had theorized, we haven't really heard anything concrete, but it just seems like mismanagement has been a problem there for a while. And really, if you're the guy in charge, you're the one that's kind of on the table first. So if you can't correct it, you gotta pass the torch, as he said, and give it to somebody else. So, I mean, he's had a successful career at Bungie. I don't think anyone would say that, but it's sometimes you kind of run out of steam, or you kind of, as the business evolves, maybe you're not the right person to lead it. And obviously there's a big evolution when it comes to being bought by Sony. So I don't believe you will never convince me that this was entirely Pete Parsons' decision, but, sometimes if things aren't working, you kind of see, like, maybe some people are like step aside and say, hey, I'm not what's best for the team. I'm not what's best for the crew. And it's time to give somebody else a shot. So I think really, as Matt alluded to or said, anyone could have guessed this was going to happen. Because if there was ever going to be serious change in Bungie, it kind of had to mean Pete Parsons wasn't there anymore.
Tricky.
I don't care about Bungie, so I have no opinion on this.
He's leaving in the wake of what's been news after news saying that Sony is upset with the way. Do you think this truly was a retirement, or do you think maybe it was him finally saying, I've done what I needed to do in my career. Time to head out.
I think there was kind of pressure put for him to leave. I'm not gonna lie about that, but I think part of it is, even if there was pressure, it's him turning around saying, I've done enough for this industry, I've made my money, I don't need to deal with this shit anymore, I'll just leave. I don't think he was fired. I think I think there was a gentle push for him to go out the door, and he just said, I'll take the door.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying he was fired. I think it's more to that point where it seems like everybody kind of saw what the writing on the wall at Bungie was and say, maybe there needs to be a change of leadership here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he didn't take over Bungie until 2015, so that was 8 years after they released their last Halo game. So,
well, and then talking about the interesting thing here is that he leaves and somebody internal to Bungie was named as CEO. It wasn't Sony strong arming somebody else to say time for a real change. No, this is somebody else native to Bungie, which is something to say.
Here's also the thing, and this is just speculation at this point. Like, we still don't know how Bungie falls into PlayStation Studios, because if you look up PlayStation Studios, Bungie's not listed as one of them. We know Bungie's owned by Sony, but they're not listed as a PlayStation Studio. So there's always that, like, is Sony really in control of Bungie? And it's that unknown that, like, adds a lot to the mystery of this, because is Bungie still running on its own, but they are owned by Sony? Because they're not listed as a PlayStation studio. So what is the relation between Sony and Bungie?
As with any situation like this, I think you have to look at context. You have to take it won't give you a complete picture, but you'll get a better picture and answer a lot of questions, basically looking at the lead up to events like this happening. And I think that everything that's happened at Bungie, kind of some of the uncertainty surrounding Marathon, there's no way you can look at this and not think that Sony and Pete Parsons had conversations. And I don't think they would outright fire him. I think that in any given instance, I think they might say to him, hey, we're going to give you the chance to step down, or we may have to take this step. But, we'll never know the complete picture, but having context and look, these things all have to be related. The general decline in the trust level that I think a lot of people have in Bungie has to be part of the picture.
Well, here's also interesting. Like I'm on Bungie's website now. Uh, there's no mention of Sony anywhere on the site. No PlayStation logo, nothing. I mean, they've got Star Wars and 2024 Lucasfilms limited all rights reserved, which I don't know Bungie had anything to do with Star Wars, but I don't see a Sony brand on this at all. So again, it's like I don't know. Like we know Sony owns them. That's not debatable. But what is the relationship?
Sugar
What
daddy.
I mean, is Sony really? Does Sony really have any control over Bungie? Is my question, and I question that. I mean, they yes, again, they own them, but do they really have any control over the studio?
I imagine for over 3 billion that they have some level of control. How much nobody knows.
I don't know. I like I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist, but it's like this is something we've always questioned.
Well, we'll continue to question it. What we're not questioning is how the Ratchet and Clank remake got greenlit. So, Sean Layden, again in the news, talks about how he was one of the ones that was able to get Ratchet and Clank remake on the PS4 greenlit. So he was pushing forward the project, and he said, you know, it's definitely something we want to do. And yet there were people in sales and marketing saying nobody wants to play that old Ratchet and Clank game. I'd like to know who those people are so they can be flogged, because there's a lot of people that want to play them. But he used data to sell the brand, and he said, look, there's 20% or less of PS4 gamers who aren't even aware of who Ratchet and Clank are. So that makes 80% of PS4 players who don't know it. So as a result, he thought that if they put it out, especially given that, you know, there was that movie coming out, that they'd be able to have something special. And I think personally it was a success, because I didn't get to play those old Ratchet and Clanks, and being able to play it on a fresh new system, especially with all the upgrades and updates they did, was a great choice. So, you know, Sean Layden has made some off color commentary lately about some things he would and wouldn't have done, but I think this was a good decision. Tricky?
I'm happy he greenlit Ratchet and Clank. I think Ratchet and Clank is a cornerstone of the PlayStation uh ecosystem. Like it's wild that they say around 80% of PlayStation 4 gamers weren't familiar with the brand. Like that's crazy to me. How does 80% of Sony players not know what Ratchet and Clank is?
Well,
Um,
specifically, it was 80% of PS4 players. So there's probably, you know, people who knew what it was, but he wasn't counting them as part of the data.
remind me, wasn't Ratchet and Clank a launch game for the 4?
No, definitely not.
I thought
It came
was.
out 2016, because I remember we had moved here and I had picked it up at launch.
Or was it supposed to be a launch game?
I don't know that.
I don't. Uh,
No, it came out much after the PS4 was there, and it definitely took advantage of the system. But from the grand scheme of things, it was, since it was originally a PS2 game being brought, skipped the entire generation. Even though we know that the future series was on the PS3, getting to play the original with all of the updates and upgrades was a smart move.
oh, you know what? Okay, they launched the game in succession with their movie.
Yes.
That's what it was. Yeah, Matt, what do you think about this? Like, you're obviously a fan of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, and my thing is I never played them on the PS2. I barely even played them on the PS3. So I don't know why all of a sudden it comes out on the PS4 and I was like, "Yep, must play." So I picked it up. I think at the time it was $40. It definitely wasn't full price.
I think most Ratchet and Clank games are like 40 or 50.
Yeah, and it was worth every penny that I paid for it. And you know, from what I heard, the CGI movie did not do well.
Do well. Did
But
not do well at all.
But the game was obviously popular enough, and then leading into the PS5, they came out with Rift Apart, and I want them to continue. Of course, anytime you talk about Ratchet and Clank, you talk about people who say, "Well, what about Jack and Daxter?" And that's even more far gone that you're not going to see that. So I don't know if current Sony is willing to make that push for like a Jack and Daxter, but I still think this success, along with Rift Apart, we need more Ratchet and Clank.
But would you rather Insomniac work on Ratchet and Clank, or would you rather them work on other projects? I mean, they're heavily into the Marvel projects now. What would you rather them do?
Well, so with what they're doing, and we know that Insomniac isn't just one singular building, it's multiple parts. I would like to see them work on another Ratchet and Clank. I had a lot of fun on Rift Apart, and I would like to see them come up with something else. Now, does that mean I want that in place of like a Spider-Man 3 or the Wolverine project? It depends. I actually would want Ratchet and Clank more than Wolverine, but that's just me. I know there's other people who really want a Wolverine game, and I think Insomniac's going to do well with it. But my hope would be that at some point they're thinking about a new Ratchet and Clank game.
Insomniac actually has 2 studios. I didn't know that, or 2 locations. Sorry.
That's what I was thinking. And generally speaking, they're working on different things. It's not like one studio's handling this and then hands it off to the other one. They're just sitting there waiting. So
right.
we'll get another Ratchet and Clank, I feel, in the future. Just who knows? Maybe the PS6.
I just want another Sly Cooper. We get another Sly Cooper.
When was Sly Cooper 4?
It's got to be like 10 years ago at this point.
I don't know. I never really played it, so...
Sly Cooper 4 came out in 2013. 12 years ago.
Wow. Okay. That's a thing.
That and the other game I want is Infamous.
I was actually just talking with my friend about Infamous today, and he was playing Prototype. And we started talking about how the 2 series were so similar, and that games tend to do that, where you get a game with a premise and then another game with the exact same premise, just done slightly differently, releasing at the same time, and then seeing which one gets more successful. So Infamous in this case has had 3 games and like 1 spin-off, and Prototypes only has the 2. And you still have people talking about saying that they want to get the third Prototype. And Infamous is one I really wish they would bring back as, either remake or remaster for current series, because I think
I'm actually surprised they haven't done that yet, honestly.
No, and it's looking at what the original Infamous was. I would love to be able to go and actually play through it in a modern setting, because the way the PS3 was good, but the load times and discs and everything else, it was a slog to get through. And with our current control schemes, I think we'd be able to make that work very well. So, I would love if they would do an Infamous 1 and 2 type remake or remaster, making it available on modern systems, and not through the PS Plus service or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, and then again, it goes back to the question, like, do you want Sucker Punch working on the Ghost games, or do you want them working on other Infamous?
Well, there's no reason that they can't finish out Ghost and then do something else.
The last one wasn't even made by Sucker Punch. It was made by Sanzaru, I think. Sanzaru Games.
And which is funny, because out of them, Infamous Second Son was the one I played the most. I played that one through to completion.
Did you play both storylines or just the one?
I played through as a good on the first one, and I started the second one. I never finished it.
See, the way I was planning those games was I played good on the first run through, and then I played evil on the second one. And when I bumped up the difficulty, because I was like, it was too hard to try to not hit a civilian on harder difficulties. So I was like, at this point, I'm bad. So like, I'll hit everybody. Took
You
out
know what?
everybody.
I looked at it and the way Delson was acting, I was like, this just feels wrong. Like it was weird having him play as like the bad guy.
Yeah, I get that.
And the next topic comes by way of Tricky's favorite guy, Jason Schreier. And
God.
if you have been living under a rock over the past 7 years, people have been waiting for Silksong, the highly anticipated, what I think was originally going to be DLC, but kicked into its own spin-off Hollow Knight game, featuring, I think her name is Silk from Hollow Knight. I don't know. I never really finished Hollow Knight because I hate the mapping of that system. I felt the game was overrated, but hey. And basically what he said in a tweet and said, Team Cherry told him that they don't plan on sending out early codes for Silksong. And I think part of the conversation here is going to be, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because we have seen that happen to games in the past, but they actually gave a reason for this one. And they said they felt it would be unfair for critics to be playing the game before Kickstarter backers and other players. So if you are one of the numerous people who are anxiously awaiting Hollow Knight Silksong, just know that you won't see any reviews or numbers until after the game releases. Now, I was always saying that, you know, if a developer isn't confident in their game, they tend to not send out review codes until the day it gets released, which means that they can reap in all the sales without reviewers maybe shitting on a bad game. In this one, I actually kind of agree with their philosophy. I don't know, Tricky. You didn't play Hollow Knight, right?
No, but he did a reply to that tweet and he says just for the record, he doesn't think that's the only reason. They also mentioned that it will take a lot of time to get codes and distribute them, etc. And they're a tiny team with lots to do in the next 2 weeks. So
And this is a team that literally announced the release date 2.5 weeks from when the release date got announced. I mean, it's been the industry's worst kept secret that they know that they've been working on it. They know that it was coming. They never even gave like it's releasing in this quarter or this half of the year. But then comes Gamescom and they just come out and say, hey, yeah, September 4th, it's coming in 2.5 weeks. And the internet lost its fucking mind. So I think the bigger question here, or bigger commentary here is like, well, normally not giving your review code out until release day is seen as a bad move, but it seems like they're kind of weathering the negative feedback of that one because I think anybody who wants it is gonna buy it.
can I just say I didn't even know this game existed until they announced it at Gamescom.
Well, again, if you weren't big into Hollow Knight, you may not have been following it.
No, but you figure a game that's this highly anticipated, you would have seen some rumors or something going along the lines of saying, "Hey, where's Silksong?"
Well, again, you say highly anticipated, and I look at it going, Hollow
You
Knight's
got to be in
got a
that
fair
ecosystem.
following. You what?
I'm saying you got to be in that ecosystem.
I guess like you have to be a super fan to really want it. And maybe not even a super fan. Maybe you played the game and enjoyed it and would like more of that. And that's fine. That looks like it's going to be right up that alley. Me on the other hand, it's like, you got people calling this going to be game of the year. And I go, Hollow Knight wasn't even game of the year the year it got released.
Yeah, I don't know. I I'm not gonna say like I'm gonna shit on Hollow Knight because I think it's one of those games where I would go back and play, but right now I just got too much to play. I got Death Stranding to play. I got Gears of War to play. I got 2 Hellblades to play. I still got to keep up on the Division. I just don't have time for it.
Again, I just go into the idea that like I tried the game on no less than 3 separate occasions, and unfortunately, the way that they do the map system in there just frustrated the hell out of me. I kept getting lost. I kept getting wasted time, and therefore I just gave up on it. But there's plenty
Yeah,
of people who work their way through it and absolutely love it. So I'm happy for them that they're getting Silksong finally after 7 years. You know,
I
it's
mean,
not the worst.
Okay.
No, it's not the worst wait in gaming history that people have waited for.
Oh, even because Alex can't talk right now, I'm just gonna tell you that Alex played it and he absolutely hated Hollow Knight because he can't talk right now. I thought you played Hollow Knight.
Tricky, what were you saying? What lies were you talking
I
about
was
with me
just
playing
fucking around.
Hollow Knight?
I was just taking a shot that you couldn't talk right now, or at least it wouldn't be on the recording. It's gonna be on the live recording.
I could fucking
but
hear you, but yeah, I never played Hollow Knight. I mean, again, it's one of those games where I feel like it's
I
been
thought you,
enough
you got
out
the
there
platinum
where
in it.
it's been on like mainstream channels enough talking about the difficulty of it and just how challenging it is, where it's kind of a well-known game series, but it's one of those game series also where I don't want to say you have to be brave to try it out, but like only a select like a certain percentage of the people who actually play games and turn on consoles is actually going to want to play. Like those people who love difficulty just to be challenged. And I don't feel like that's everybody, but I feel like there are enough people out there to where this game can be successful.
I thought. Ooh, dying. I thought you got the platinum in it.
I have never played Hollow Knight a single second in my life. I have no idea what game you're thinking of.
No, I'm thinking of the right game. I'm just thinking of the wrong person. Maybe it was Yield.
I don't think Yield's ever played Hollow Knight. Is it Sid or Rick? I don't know.
You know what? It might be Rick. It might be Rick.
I would, yeah, that'd be a safe bet.
Red.
All right, so Alex, now that you're back, what do you think about the idea that they weren't able to provide review codes ahead of release? That they're on the aspect of, well, we wanted to make sure everybody got the same game at the same time.
I think prioritizing the people who bought into your game and helped fund it is very important. So I understand that reason. I also believe if no games in the future ever sent out review codes to anybody, like all these like IGNs and Kotakus and whatnot, or The Verge, had to buy their own copies of the game to play, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I think, and I've said it before, I don't think that these media sites or these journalists have been any less important than they are right now, ever. Like people, who is going to game sites to look for reviews these days, honestly? Like I never look for reviews on games that I purchase, just never. So quite frankly, I think it's not necessary for them to do it. I understand why people would be like, oh, you're not presenting review codes, huh? But at the same time, they do point out they're a smaller team. It took them a while to get this game out. So I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it necessarily means there's anything wrong with the game. I mean, we have never had any, the first Hollow Knight game, on top of being challenging, is lauded as a very good game. So it's not like this team has given us any reason to doubt their quality. So I don't think there's any issues with it. They've had enough time to make a good game. I think they'll make a good game. And really, if you're a smaller team, why are you sending review codes out to IGN and whatnot? Like, why? Who cares?
You want the press?
Are they not going to cover Hollow Knight? Like, people forget that these sites need to cover games for people to come check out their articles. They need the clicks. They need to cover games like Hollow Knight and other things.
But it also works both ways. It also works both ways. So if you give, say, IGN a code ahead of time and they're able to go through your game and put out a good review, then the people that do go to IGN might turn around and say, you know what, I didn't know about this game, but IGN liked it, so I'm going to give it a shot. So it works both ways.
Hollow Knight
IGN
has
needs
enough
the
press
review
over the years to where I feel like they don't need, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they need IGN to sell this game.
Well, I mean, you look at me, like, I didn't even know this game existed until I saw it at Gamescom.
Yeah, but also you didn't play the first Hollow Knight.
I didn't play any Hollow Knights.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But what I'm saying
that's the point, is you're not looking to play a sequel to Hollow Knight.
No, but if they could put out the press to get me interested in the series, then not only do I go out and buy Silksong, now I go out and buy the other Hollow Knights. So yeah, I'm just saying
you're not
it works both ways. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm just saying it works both ways.
Also, you
IGN
regularly
needs
go
the
to
game to
IGN
review.
and you had no idea. So what's IGN going to do for anybody? Like you
I
go to
don't-
IGN
I
and you
don't
didn't know this game
go-
was a thing.
I don't go to IGN. The only time I go to IGN is on when I was doing the agendas on Sundays.
See,
That was
there
it.
you go. IGN has never been more useless because even Tricky Mick doesn't want to go there anymore. My point has been made. But no, I don't think
never
there's
wanted to
anything
go to
fishy
IGN.
about this with them not giving out review codes. If you're a smaller team, and again, if this was their first game, I could understand them being more reliant. But they released the first Hollow Knight. It seems like it was successful. It's gotten enough press about it. They don't need as much press as if they had just made their first game for Silksong. I mean, hell, them not sending out review codes is a story in of itself that we are talking about, thus giving them some level of press for the Silksong.
And it didn't cost them a cent.
Didn't cost them a review code. Go buy your own review code, IGN, Ziff Davis, you cheap bastard. Stop firing everybody.
Oh,
Well-
no, they didn't say they weren't sending out review codes. They said not sending them out ahead of time.
So, yeah, but that's a great segue into our next article about Take-Two being cheap bastards and firing people at Cloud Chamber, the developers of the next BioShock game, coming from
What?
Bloomberg. And oh, look, Jason Schreier again. Basically,
Oh my
Take-Two
God.
Interactive Software laid off a third of the staff.
And you guys call me a shill for IGN. Matt's a shill for Jason Schreier.
I'm a shill for good reporting. So basically that amounted to 80 jobs Tuesday, part of a reorganization, and before that they had about 250 people. So I think it's safe to say that the next BioShock probably going to get some delays going on with there. And this article brought to you by said Gaming News Corner, as we are wont to do on the show ever so often. I don't know, Alex, yet more layoffs from Cloud Chamber and Take-Two. What, are they not going to reap in enough money from Rockstar to share it across the brand?
Yeah, it's funny how much, and this shows you just how it's taken on a game-by-game basis where one game could have just a vault full of money poured into it and allowed to be developed over a certain course of time, whereas another game is, part of a very beloved series, and at a certain point they start, reducing headcount because it's taken too long to develop, as this would seem to say and suggest. So
one game brings in almost $1 billion a month. The other one does sales and stops.
I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, there is a much longer tail for GTA than BioShock, so I fully understand. I also am worried that, this kind of seems like BioShock is BioShock, the original game, will always be like lauded and championed, and everyone will always look back at that twist and be like, "Oh man, this is so great." And they'll also always look back at that final boss fight and be like, "Man, that was terrible. What was the worst part of a great game?" 2 and Infinite, I think they'll be looked at positively, but maybe not as revered as the original game. But this may just kind of be one of those things where this game series is kind of passé. It's like, I don't want to say it can never be successful, but maybe it's kind of one of those things where BioShock had its time and its time is over now. I don't know if you're being funded by 2K or Take-Two and you have the know-how and the kind of the blueprint to make a BioShock game. I don't know how it takes this long to make it work, especially when you have hundreds of people work at your studio. Again, mismanagement can be an issue, but you seem to have decent funding. I don't know. Maybe there's too many. I mean, I don't even want to speculate, but it definitely seems like when you hear these kind of stories that there's very much a danger to the project. And who knows, like maybe BioShock Infinite needs to be the last BioShock. Maybe there doesn't always need to be another one. The other games can be great regardless of what happens in the future with BioShock, but I would like to play another one. But it definitely seems like quality comes, after a certain amount of time. There is a question of what kind of quality will this game be. Hand up, I didn't finish The Last Guardian. Never got to finish Last Guardian, and everyone knows how much I enjoyed Shadow of the Colossus. Was looking forward to The Last Guardian, but after a certain amount of time, you have to wonder, what is the game going to turn out to be? Will the quality be there? And if it takes forever to put a game out, is it even really worth putting that game out? So I don't know. I'm honestly concerned about the project. I mean, I say concerned. I'm not legitimately concerned because again, if the series ended with Infinite, I would be fine. If another one comes out, great. But if this project gets lost, I mean, it is what it is. It's the games industry. But yeah, you can't have too much confidence in this studio and in the game itself if we are where we are and we're getting these kind of stories of jobs being cut. That doesn't help a project get out the door faster or with as good a quality.
Yeah, and a lot's been said about this game not having a tail, GTA making them a lot of money. But it just seems like, I don't know, 80 people. It didn't really, looking at the article, I didn't see exactly what areas they were, but it just seems like you cut 80 people from a 250 person group. That game's not going to get out any faster than if you had those people. Tricky. Any other thoughts?
I'm good.
I do have a quick question, and I was going to look this up, but I wanted to bring it up before we moved on. Is Ken Levine part of Cloud Chamber?
No, he's been gone for a while. He had started his own thing. If you remember, Lawbreakers was an effort he did.
Okay, because I'm trying to think, was he part of Infinite? Which, I mean, if he was...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he was
then
definitely
that honestly may be part of the issue, is that the guy who helped make BioShock so great is not there anymore.
Well, he also promises a BioShock on the Vita we never got.
Well, that's because the Vita didn't deserve a BioShock.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. Could you ever imagine playing a BioShock? If it was the original BioShock, I could get that, but like a brand new, because those games weren't like, it's not like they weren't small and like bite size. I mean, those were super impressive games, like visually stunning games. You gonna tell me you're gonna shrink that down and put it on the Vita?
Evidently, Ken Levine has a new studio called Ghost Story Games LLC,
which is owned by 2K.
It is.
And well, yeah, because if you're 2K, you don't want to let that guy go. As long as Ken Levine is making games, you want him part of your team. But it seems like very much after Ken Levine left, the BioShock series kind of lost its way, and it's kind of hard, when you lose kind of that very important headpiece, like Voltron without the head. Like it's not always easy to replace just that creative genius that helped make the series great in the first place.
Yep. All right. So sadly, we didn't post up a line about listener questions.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, we got no questions though.
Okay. Well, I do have one question.
Okay.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
Coming from probably the most important person in this house, V asks us, what game series is K-pop Demon Hunters going to infiltrate first? Do either of you know what K-pop Demon Hunters is?
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the show
gonna...
because the movie, because Ashley was watching it. She watched the whole thing.
I'm just gonna say Fortnite.
Answer stealing motherfucker.
You didn't say it.
Alex, do you have any thoughts?
I'll say Just Dance.
That's actually a really good freaking answer.
That's a good answer too.
Yeah, better than Tricky's, I'll say that.
But mine's more likely.
How about you steal a good answer, Tricky? Oh, how many Just Dance games does Ubisoft put out? How much of Ubisoft's money is actually based on Just Dance these days? It sure isn't based on Immortals Phoenix Rising or Beyond Good and Evil.
Let's see. I'll look and see how many games they've released. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we don't need to
4,
goddamn do
5,
this. We don't
6.
need an actual number on Just Dance games. It's all too many.
12. Well, since Tricky stole my answer, I'm just gonna say Ghost of Yotei. Even though I never know it'll never happen.
There are demons in the movie, so
29 Just Dance games.
okay, yeah, there you go.
All right. Tricky, did you want to cover anything on Division 2 before we move on?
No, they're apparently there are plans to have 2 more seasons. They did mention, which they didn't really go into detail with, saying that we're gonna get AI companions or NPC companions, um, which I'm just assuming means that we're gonna be able to, like, for the solo players, we're gonna be able to go into a mission and have a AI companion with us instead of like a normal person. Um, it's intriguing. They announced 2 more seasons. Uh, two well, I don't seasons chapters. I don't know. I get confused with the terminology. We're in year 7 right now, and there's 3 seasons with that. Season 1 is ending soon. Season 2 is going to be starting. Um, they did announce that they're going to be a retaliation system built into the open world now, which sounds intriguing because now if you take over too much of a certain um, section of the map, that faction will now actively try to invade it back, and you have 45 minutes to retake it. And if you are successful, they're going to be giving out exotic blueprints, which is something that's very hard to get in the game. Um, they also mentioned, like I said, the companions and the survival mode, which I'm intrigued by. A lot of people are thinking that they're trying to reuse the assets from Heartland, which got canceled, which I don't believe that to be true because one, Heartland was built in an entirely different city, and from what we saw, the maps for survivors is going to be DC, just based in the snow, which is what everybody wanted. They wanted snow to come back. Um, so I'm intrigued. Probably not going to get any real word on what any of that stuff is for a while now. But uh, somebody reached out to me recently and said they wanted me to run them through and get the platinum. I think it was Rick. So if you are interested in running through a division, I will gladly run you through that game. But that's it. That's it for me.
Alrighty. Well, now we got our topic of the week.
Toe. Topic of the week. Well, fine then. Fuck you, Matt.
Tricky
5,
updated
Gareth.
number? 5?
5.
5. Okay. Well, in the latest move by Sony to screw over their constituents, I say constituents, I meant customers. The prices of the PS5 are increasing in the US. Now, this should be noted that they had increased the price of the PS5 in other regions. What was it, last year, if I remember? I can't remember. It happened previously, but now the US is catching up to everybody else, with the PlayStation 5 now going to be $540 or $550, the digital edition $500, and the PlayStation Pro $750. You know, Nintendo just recently did this, increasing the price of their original Switch lineup and accessories, and now PlayStation is doing this. So, not to get political, but you know, from what I've seen, is this is kind of a move in relation to the uncertainty of the market due to tariffs and things like that. So I can't wholly blame Sony, but this is uncharted territory in the fact that every system released before us, before the current gen, has always gone down in price. And here we are, we're now in this area where companies are seemingly okay with increasing the price of consoles, knowing people are going to buy it. And I, for one, am not too sure about what that's going to mean for future console deliveries and prices there. But, you know, the PlayStation 5 Pro, you're getting close to $1,000 console. And Alex, you and I kind of talked about this before. I have no footing to stand on because I've spent nearly $2,000 on just a graphics card for my PC. and that was end of 2020, maybe 2021. I can't remember. But these console manufacturers generally historically have decreased costs on the longer a console is out, but here we're getting price increases. So Alex, more to you. What do you think?
I mean, like you said, you can't blame it all on Sony, but at the same time, we're getting close to an $800 console, and I, I mean, I don't have the entire history of video game consoles, so they may not even be the most expensive console. But I think when you're asking folks to pay that much for a console, the amount of people who can afford your console goes down drastically. Um, the cost of playing games and playing video games is rising faster than people's, you know, any wage increases they get during annual reviews or anything like that. What I make it work is not enough to cover all of the rise and increase in everything, including video games, to go into the grocery, to paying to maintain your house, have checkups on your like systems in your house or like vet bills and stuff like that. So, I mean, even if you can't blame Sony, there has to be some way for these game makers to cut their cost or rein in spending so that they don't completely, you know, start cutting out people who want to play games but just can't afford it because it's just ridiculous. Like asking $800, and you don't need a pro, but $750 for a pro is just like, it's, I don't know. Maybe to some people it's worth it, but I think when you get to that amount of money for a console, you're starting to get a territory where only so many people can buy it. And at a time when they seem to be, they're releasing free to play games, focusing on microtransactions, when they're trying to make games as accessible as possible, by making them more expensive, you're now like raising the bar to actually get invested in a console. Matt talked about how much he spent on a graphics card, and how we all know that buying a computer and buying a gaming computer and investing in that is an extremely expensive thing to do. We also know that traditionally game consoles have been much cheaper, and they've also been partly, cheaper over their lifetime because a lot of times you can get away with buying just one, and that will last you till the end. You don't have to, update it with a graphics card or whatnot. But we're starting to get to the point where game consoles, some of them are starting to edge up to around the $1,000 mark. And I think that you're leaving people behind. You're going to leave people behind who want to play games, but they can't justify it because they got to spend money on other things. I spend less on games now than I ever have because I simply cannot justify spending money every month on a new game. And it's gotten to the point where there may be games out there I want to play, but I kind of have to rein in my spending because I feel like I should save my money in case I need it for something else. Like I said, for vet bills, to fix issues with the house, to fix issues with the car. And I've got a regular job, but I still feel at times like it's better off me not buying games and, saving that money for something else. So there needs to be some look in depth by these game companies saying, how can we rein in spending so that we don't lose people, so that we can, people that actually afford to play our games. Otherwise, you're just going to have a lot of people like Yield, who wait for games to go on sale, or like me, who just don't spend money on games at all and just revert back to playing games they bought a long time ago, and they can still squeeze more life out of. So I mean, I think it maybe threat is too much of a dire word, but I mean, rising cost in gaming is definitely a threat to sales themselves of video games.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you talk about, especially here in the US, where 750 is not just 750. Now add tax onto that and everything else. And you look at the price of games going up along with everything else that goes into the system, whether it's the controller. And to be fair, Sony also said that the price of their accessories remains unchanged. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the accessories are also made overseas. So why would they not be going up? If this is truly specifically about the tariffs, what's so special about the system itself that they need to increase the cost? Yeah, there's more electronics going into it, so maybe it's a balance. I don't know. It's tricky. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, I mean, you guys are harping on the $750 price point for the Pro, and I get it. But you got to remember the Pro is for the hardcore gamers. They're the ones that want the biggest and the best. It sucks that the price is going up. I mean, already people were saying the $700 was too much for it. $750 does make it a hell of a lot worse. I can't. I don't know this because I like just like the point you just made out the fact that the consoles are going up but the accessories are staying the same. I find it hard to believe that this is about the tariffs. So, and I'm reading the comments for this, and the point being made, and I don't see it. Like I don't. The people that are gonna want the Pro are gonna pay the price. It sucks for the normal gamers to get in. Was it now $550 and $500? What were the prices again?
And wasn't the price of the digital $400?
It was $400. It went up to $450 not too long ago, and then now it's up to $500.
So that's telling us that it now costs Sony $100 more in general terms to make the digital, which I think is it. Oh, and let's not forget the PS5 Pro doesn't come with the disc. Not that it doesn't come with the disc drive.
Yeah, I'm looking on Sony's direct website right now. They still got the old prices. They still got $700 for the Pro, $450 for the digital, $500 for the Slim, $400 for the refurbished.
Yeah. And they said it was supposed to start on August 21st.
Well, that's a weird thing. It's because I logged in and to leave some comments, and all the prices were there. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. Oh, there the prices are back. I logged out, and now the prices are back. So, yeah, digital console is now $500. The Slim is now $550. Refurbished is still $400, and the digital refurbished is $350. So, I don't know. Sony's got a glitch on their website. You signed in, you can't buy anything.
All right. Well, so there you have it, folks. It's just one of those things that's the nature of I guess gaming these days is expect prices to go up over time as opposed to down. So gaming isn't like what it used to be. So that said, just one last comment I'll leave on this is just remember a year ago, Concord had the worst video game launch of all time. That's right, folks. It's been a year since Concord.
But
nuts. Tricky, you want to...
And here's the thing. I actually, I understand Tricky's, support the developers, and I'm not against the idea, but I don't want people out there, bitching about people not supporting the developers when, people have so much money to spend on other things, and yet the cost of games keeps rising. That's whole... I'm not saying pirate games. I don't think you should do that. I think you should pay for the games you play in some form, whether that be...
Yeah, Matt.
Huh?
I said, yeah, Matt.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, I think that these game developers need to make a game for sale. Like, if you're not planning on selling a game, and the only way somebody can play it is to, get it through, ROMs or something like that, I don't got a problem with that. But if there's a game out there available for you to purchase, I think you should spend money on it, whether that be a subscription or just like the one-time upfront cost. But if the cost of all this stuff is going to keep rising, I don't understand how the industry can complain about people not spending $80, $70 on a brand new game when people need to pay for other things like rent or to take their pets to the hospital or something like that. I'm sorry, I really want to hear less bitching from the industry about that, because the cost. My ability to pay for this stuff is lessening every time you raise the cost of this stuff. So again, I think there needs to be some internal thought at the video games and during the video games by people in the games industry to say, how can we stop these costs from rising? Because people cannot afford to pay for this stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's us as consumers now switching our initial purchases to things like double A games or more indie games, which are giving us a bigger bang for the buck as it relates to what we get out of it. And the sad thing is we start doing that, we're not going to be seeing developers go, oh well, people aren't buying these games because of the price. They're going to say, well, people aren't buying these games because of whatever reason won't make sense. So
Yeah, and
it's
we had what Sean Layden talking about how subscription services are going to be, very bad for games, and really that's like the most cost effective way for people consumers to play games, which is why it's so heavily tilted in that direction. Is because people can get the most bang for their buck. And what do you expect people to go out and spend? Like I said, $80 per game just because that you're trying to make up all the costs of the marketing and the development. I mean,
and and with developers like Ubisoft and others being like, well, you don't actually own your games. Oh, you have it physically on a disc. Yeah, you still don't own it. People are going to go, okay, I'll just rent them. I'm not going to pay $80 for a game that I'm never going to truly own. Alrighty. Well, Tricky, you want
Speaking
to?
of speaking of renting games, did you guys know you go to the library and rent games?
yes.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I mean, it's probably not the greatest selections of games, but yeah, that is an option.
Apparently, somebody told me that like if you go into the local library and you want to rent a game and they don't have it, you just request that they purchase it, and they purchase it, and then when it comes in, you're the first person allowed to borrow it.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Uh, wait. Apparently, somebody just posted something about the Xbox Ally is launching on October 16th.
Yeah, and I think they are going to be 500 and 800 somewhere in that neighborhood.
550 for
So base,
five.
and then
900 for the more expensive one.
yeah.
So that's insane. All right,
Yep.
I wasn't gonna buy it anyway, but
Well,
it
no,
just makes
neither
it.
was I. I'm happy with my Steam Deck.
All right, where are we at?
We are at
I
closing
lost
out the show.
I'm closing out the show.
It's
All right,
back to you.
Alex, your shout out, sir.
We'll give a shout out to our awesome community, the fuel to the fire, the trophy wars. Thank you all for your continued support. However you choose to listen, for interacting with us, for spreading the word of Trophy Whores, just letting people know that you listen to a good ass podcast. We definitely appreciate you. So thank you all very much for your continued support. Give a shout out to my co-host Matt and Tricky, as well as Yield, who could not join us here tonight. Give a shout out to Will for his artwork. Thank you, Will, for the work you do for us every single week. And last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend Ashley. I love you, hun. That is going to close me out.
Matt, your shout out, sir.
Shout out to you, gents, for recording. Shout out to Yield for not making it tonight. Hope you're doing something you wanted to do. And shout out to the Channel 3 community. Make sure to check out channel3.gg for gamified social media. And shout out to my wife, V. Thank you for everything you do.
And I want to give a shout out to everybody that listens. Everybody that's continuously reached out to make sure that I'm okay. I'm doing okay. I'm healing. And I am streaming now. Trying to get back into streaming more. Doing a little Hellblade. Doing a little bit of Division. Doing a little bit of Death Stranding. And I'm pretty sure that if the three of us all get together, I will stream some of our Gears of War. We just gotta find a night that all three of us can do it. But that's it. So until next week, happy trophy hunting.
Later.
Matt never says goodbye.
Goodbye.
That's not good.
I'll make a liar out of me. Make a liar out of me.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12th Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.